I think about how when I had one person that believed in me, and I'm thankful I have a family that loves me and but somebody that was successful, somebody that was doing something good would believe in me, man, that changed the way I did so many things. So
Yeah,
I know those kids, that's helping
yeah,
them to know that
yeah,
somebody believes in them and thinks they're important, and that's so powerful. One
yeah.
of the things you mentioned earlier, and I've never understood this. I know it happens all the time, but you talked about being a functional alcoholic.
Mhm.
How does that happen? I know how it happens. How do people function that way? That's what I have a hard time understanding.
Well, I look for me, right? I wasn't so I grew up in a nice family, right? There was no trauma growing up. Um, I was valedictorian in my high school,
Wow.
right? And so school, I never had to even think about school,
Right.
but that because that wasn't important to me, right? When I was 15 or 16, now again, I wasn't self-aware enough at the time to know, but what I wanted was to be calmer because I have a very active, it wasn't anxiety. It was just, I wanted to be more calmer and relaxed. I
Mhm.
wanted to be connected, especially to people who acted like they were the cool crowd.
Right.
Yeah, and so I wanted to be connected and calmer and like that. And guess what? There's something that helped me do that.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, that's okay. So in high school, it was like a social habit.
Yeah.
Went to Georgia Tech, got an engineering degree. School still wasn't a problem. And so now I'm away on my own. So
Yeah.
there were no boundaries on me. It's probably somewhere in that stage, where it became an addiction for me. In
Yeah.
other words, where I depended on it to help me feel a certain way. And then I start work and, you know, I'm a relatively responsible person, even though I was an alcoholic, right? So, uh, you know, I worked real hard. Yeah, I even worked relatively long hours. But yet, in parts of my life, I depended on alcohol to solve my problems for me.